Hey yo, hello and welcome to the Wellabro Show. My name is Esteban Carrero and today we're going to be doing something a little bit interesting. What is this interesting thing, you might be asking yourself? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I've been diving into what's known as the public domain. What's the public domain? What does the public domain mean, or what does it stand for? Well, with a simple Google search, the term public domain refers to creative materials that are not protected by intellectual property laws, such as copyright, trademark, or patent law. The public owns these works, not an individual author or artist. Anyone can use public domain works without obtaining permission, but no one can ever own it. A good example would be some classic fairy tale characters like Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, or Cinderella. These stories can be told from a different perspective. I mean, the most popular ones are from Disney, but you can make up your own Cinderella story. You can make up your own Aladdin or Mulan, but it doesn't just stick with fairy tales. It even can go as far as to superheroes. That's right. Today, if you haven't, seen by the title of this video, we're gonna be taking a character from the public domain, a superhero from the public domain, and we're gonna give it its own story and lore and background and everything. This interpretation of the character is my own interpretation, but imagine you can take this version of this character that I'm drawing today, Strongman, and you can do whatever you want with him. But this is just how I would do it, and this would be my character that I would have made from my own perspective. So I think you heard enough of me talking, so how about I stop talking, and let's get drawing. Percy Van Norden was a man who once lived an extremely lavish lifestyle, but eventually it all came to a sharp end. Percy's father was sick and tired of his second-born son taking advantage of his fortune and wealth. Percy, I'm tired of you mooching off my money. I've given you everything you need to begin your own business. So, starting next week, I'm kicking you out and withholding all your money. To get all of this back, I'll need you to create a company with $1 million net worth from nothing. Hopefully, this will make you appreciate the value of all the hard work it takes to formulate a fortune. Believe me when I tell you, you'll thank me for this. This experience will make you a strong man. So, with the clothes on his back and all the cash withheld, Percy set out to create $1 million business, but unfortunately years have gone by, and Percy's working at a local burger shop, barely making enough money for rent, getting pushed over by anyone, and even being robbed at gunpoint on multiple occasions. Percy's life was horrible, but all that changed when working late on New Year's Eve. As Percy takes out the trash, he senses from a distance that an older man is getting robbed at gunpoint. Relating to the incident in front of him, Percy rushes to the crime scene and defends the older man from his muggers. Thankfully, the criminals had no firearms, but they managed to bruise Percy badly. Why are you even defending this guy? He's a nobody like you. How about you get out of here before it gets real ugly? Exclaimed the mugger. Oh yeah? He's a nobody? Then why are you ganging up on him? He's probably homeless and alone in a cruel and an abusive world. And thugs like you are the problem, Percy shouted. I'll take you down so that this man can see the good in others, so that he can see that people are willing to help those in need, to see that tomorrow is worth living. With his righteous rage, Percy fought off the muggers to the best of his abilities, but unfortunately, to the best of his abilities, it means that he got his teeth kicked in hard by the thugs. It wasn't his best fight, but Percy gave it his best shot. The older man was astounded by his courage, selflessness, and will to help someone in a dire situation. So, as a form of gratitude, the older man brought Percy to an old antique shop.
After what I saw, you will need this more than I do.
There, the older man gives Percy a strange leather-bound tome. As days go by, Percy comes to a unique revelation as he studies the antique book. This book contains a specialized set of exercises and a strange meal plan claimed to make you the perfect man. So over the next few weeks, Percy trained and began to follow the instructions in the tome's pages. In doing so, he turned his whole life around. He became more assertive, faster, and even more handsome than he had ever been in his entire life. So Percy quit his job at the burger place and took advantage of his robust features and physique. He'd eventually gone off to pursue a career as a fitness model. Over the next few months, Percy formulated a modeling and acting agency with a net worth of even more than $1 million. With his success, Percy was ready to go to his father to show him what he'd accomplish. As he did, his father was proud of his accomplishments. Now, with all of his money returned, Percy could live a life he once lived. Yet instead of returning to his old way of life, he continued growing a business and pursuing other ideas, expanding to new business endeavors. But unfortunately, Percy's timing couldn't be any better. Percy's brother Jackson Norton was in a predicament and needed help. While Jackson maintained his business in robotics and bioengineering very well, he had a horrible gambling problem. He would go out every Monday night to a secret millionaire's poker game, and they would bet the usual things like money, snacks, and heck, cars. In addition, they would even bet on owning a percentage of the other millionaire's business if they felt fortunate. This one night, Jackson made a horrible bet that lost him the entirety of his company. Jackson gambled with another wealthy individual named Jim Murray, who claimed to own a delivery service. Jackson regrettably goes to his younger brother to see if Percy can help him in his dire situation. Percy was initially hesitant, seeing how his older brother was always picked on him for the dumbest reasons growing up. But knowing what it's like to not have a stable home, a warm meal, and no money, Percy decided to help his older brother on the condition that they owned the company 50-50. As Monday night painstakingly arrived, Percy and Jackson were ready to win back some cash, cars, and Jackson's business. The fun night begins as Percy and his older brother were able to win a majority of games and a massive load of cash, and a good percentage of a variety of businesses. But like all good things, the night was coming to a close, so Jackson led his brother to meet up with Jim Murray to play a final game to win it all. So, you're the profitable prodigal son, gone from rags to riches, a tale as old as time. I'd love to hear it. So it looks like my story's gone around. I'd love to tell you, but for a price. Alright, fine. Name your price. If I win, I'll get full ownership of Norton's Biotech Incorporated, as well as $1 million cash, and the story of how I went from rags to riches. And if I win? You win my company and all my winnings from tonight. Are you confident, or just plain foolish? Play your cards right and find out. The game began. Percy, his brother Jackson, and Jim received the cards and began to play a game with everything lying on the table. Tension fills the room as the gentlemen play their cards and place bets. Every bit of banter or sarcastic remark was like a strategic strike against one another. The atmosphere was so severe that Jackson couldn't handle the pressure during the game, which led him and a few others to fold and quit the game entirely. It was all up to Percy to win everything. Percy and Jim showed that they were formidable foes, but until Percy noticed a loose card in Jim's sleeve. Aha! So that's how you've been winning every game. You cheated! Percy exclaimed. Oh, thank God, finally! Someone here has a good eye and found me out. I was waiting for someone to give me a challenge. How about this? Seeing how winning through cards isn't going anywhere, how about a one-on-one brawl to win everything? Mano y mano. What do you say? As Jim says, holding his hand out. You're on, Murray, but you better hold your end of the bargain. I'm a man of my word. I would never cheat out of a good fight. Both men shook on it and went their separate ways. For the next 6 days, Percy trained his butt off. Everything was on the line, and if he didn't win this, he'd lose everything he had worked so hard for. It was now or never. Jackson, seeing his little brother exiled from all his fortune, living alone on the streets of Bane City, and coming out victorious with an iron fist. Jackson saw his baby brother, a once weak and brittle boy, coming out to be the world's toughest man, ready to help others in need and make a better tomorrow. While Percy is training, Jackson worked on creating an icon representing everything his baby brother stood for. Jackson presented the gift to Percy that night before the fight. As Percy gazed upon his brother's gift, it inspired him even more to win the battle tomorrow. Eventually, the day of the brawl finally arrived, and the competitors were ready for the battle of a lifetime. The crowd of other millionaires were cheering on and placing bets to see who will be victorious. Finally, Norton and Murray stepped into the ring, made by using duct tape on the floor, but both gentlemen took off their shirts, put gloves on their fists, and were ready to duke it out. I'm very excited to see where this goes. It appears you trained for the occasion. I'm a little flattered.
said Murray.
Well, thank you, but don't be surprised when I win this fight. I'm not just doing this for my brother or the money. I'm doing this to make a better tomorrow and a world worth living for. And getting my brother's company back will achieve my goal, Percy responded.
Whatever you say, hero. Get ready, and fight!
The match began as the two brutes simultaneously threw a punch and struck each other's faces. The punch was so powerful it almost threw a few crowd members backward. That's impossible. No one could ever lay a finger on me like this. That punch was intense. I haven't felt that kind of power in years, Jim thought. Lucky strike. You won't lay a finger on me once I win this fight. You sure about that? The two duked it out as Jim was on the offense. Percy defended and blocked every strike. It was punch after punch, kick after kick. It was like every attack Jim dealt was on point. The more the two continued to strike each other, the crowd continued to push further away. It was as their auras were clashing and causing a disturbance in the balance of nature. Like if the saying "there wasn't enough room in this town for the two of us" was literal. This fight got way out of hand to the point that the location of the brawl started to collapse. Throughout this brawl, Jim appeared to be winning, making this fight come to a close, but Percy was not going to give up just yet. Jim pinned Percy down on the ground, making him seem victorious.
It looks like I win. Your company, your winnings, how unfortunate.
Looks like there is no better tomorrow coming your way.
That's what you think, gargled Percy. With little strength he had left, he managed to get Jim's foot off his throat and throw him off his balance. Then mustering himself on his feet, Percy knew that if he was going to win this fight, he had to hit Jim where it counts strategically. Fortunately, everything around Percy was like in slow motion, allowing him to land only 5 blows to knock him out. With every hit that landed, Percy paralyzed parts of Jim temporarily. Finally, as Jim fell to the ground, unable to move, Percy claimed to be the victor of this battle. Tomorrow is gonna look a lot better now that I won. And with that, the battle was over, and Percy had won. Now that I won, you better hold your end of the bargain.
Don't worry. The paperwork will come to you in the morning.
As Jim gets up to leave, his phone vibrates. After answering it, he chuckles and exclaims to Percy,
Well, don't worry about the company or the money. That's the least of my concerns. I currently have an owl infestation to take care of.
Look at that! That's amazing. Yes, this took me quite a while to make, and I'm very happy that, it came out this way. Yes, this is the second rendition of this character. I actually redesigned him again, so this is the second time I drew him. But I really like the way this came out, and I want to show this interpretation, and I'm so happy that you guys stuck around to listen to the whole story of Strongman and his origin stories and everything. And if you paid attention, obviously I hinted at another character that I'll be touching on for next week's video. Well guys, I'm really happy that you guys stuck around to the end of this video, and please, by all accounts, if you like this video and you want to see more of stuff like this, please hit the subscribe button. It would be fantastic if you did. It's going to really boost me up to create the next video that I'm going to be making. And honestly, if you were paying attention, you would be hinting at a particular character that I'm kind of notioning for next week's video. So thank you guys again for watching. Also, I know that my video update was supposed to be a video for Friday, but given the circumstances and everything I play here, it was obviously uploaded at whenever I'm uploading this. So there's all that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Well, I'm gonna have to sign off on this video by telling my fellow weirdos out there to stay awesome, stay weird, and always keep life to the easiest. And always remember that art inspires all, but you can inspire more. Thank you guys so much for watching, but until then, always remember to just keep going.